What is up, guys? Welcome to Boomer Base. Today we're back for a long renowned after cinema reviews. I haven't left the house in like 4 months. I got a vitamin D deficiency. We went to go see Godzilla. It was worth it. We're back with our once a year guest Logan. Say hello.
Hello.
So we're here to review Godzilla X Kong New Empire, and just had to put in that X just to piss anybody off. What did you think about the film, Logan? How was the new kaiju movie? Was it everything you could have hoped for?
It was a movie, and we watched it.
I can certainly concur and agree. Now, topping at an hour 55, it honestly didn't feel like an hour 55.
No, it felt fast.
It felt like about an hour and 20, if I'm being quite honest. And I think they misnamed it with Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire, and it should have been Godzilla. Wait, no. Kong, the New Empire, had a Godzilla.
Kong doing things while Godzilla does some other bits.
Yeah, like Godzilla sleeps in a coliseum twice and basically just goes and fucks up some other kaijus. And
yeah, it's strange. You just kind of follows Kong whilst Godzilla is just this, like, I don't know, vigilante serial killer of like other titans in the background.
Yeah, as he just goes off. Like, we see him very early on. He fights Scylla, the weird giant spider thing, in the very beginning, and literally just clobbers him, and then decides that Rome is where Godzilla's going to live from now on. Like,
just build a cat bed in Rome.
He just sleeps in the Colosseum. But like, what that and the Tiamat scene. Oh, just FYI, I haven't said it, but you know, spoiler warning going forward if you didn't know. Oh, yeah. But like, when we get to see Tiamat, there's some weird cool bit where it's showing load of other titans like all around the Earth, and I was like, how is Tiamat just like up in Antarctica or whatever it is, just with his own, like, it's Tiamat's home is what they call it. Like, Godzilla comes knocking in, kills him, and then digivolves.
And they've got that for like 21 other titans or something like that. And at what point did they kind of just make peace with the fact these giants just have territories on Earth now? Everyone was so very calm about it.
Yeah, how did they find it? Why in all the other films up to this point, bar Godzilla, King of the Monsters, like, we've just basically seen next to nothing with other kaijus, and there's like 20 odd now that are just there taking place between this Godzilla versus Kong film and this one. Like, where the hell are they?
There's like groups of people who monitor Godzilla's movement. There always seems to be a helicopter wherever he is, like some sort of SEAL Team 6 mission.
Did some of these things come out of Hollow Earth since the Godzilla Kong film? Or like, have these been here and they just didn't randomly want to beef with Ghidorah and Kong? Ghidorah and Godzilla, sorry. Or was it just like they've just been kind of lying there and now they can pick up frequencies and they just know where these other people live? Like, where the fuck was Tiamat during like this Godzilla Ghidorah beef? Like, he could have done some pretty wavy things, I feel like.
And Tiamat was literally just Mizitsune from Monster Hunter, I swear to God. But
had a lot to love. I'll highlight the poor bits. Get them poor bits out of the way, and we can talk about all the juicy stuff. Like
all the good bits.
How this film was an advert for Volkswagen cars.
Oh yeah, best. Courtesy of
Godzilla X Kong.
This video is
This video is sponsored by Helldivers 3.
Dun, dun, dun.
But like, right, normally in films like this, like Transformers, like Pacific Rim, the humans are most likely the bad aspect of this, and they definitely fit that role again in this film. Now, unlike some of the other of this Monsterverse thing, I didn't mind the humans all too much. Like, in all honesty, like, Eileen Andrews is not a terrible character to follow. Bernie Hayes was pretty cool. Trapper was fine. You know, they were all fine characters to just have. You know, I didn't have to watch Millie Bobby Brown in just a random film she didn't need to be in or something like that, or just randomly Walter White being in it for 5 minutes and then dying. You know, they were just kind of these characters that exist. They're more of the Kong crew, and you know, I am a fan of these sort of like the Kong crew, we'll call them. Bernie was definitely the highlight of the film for the humans for me. I found him quite funny. Gia, I wish he just wasn't in the film. Like, I wish I could get paid the money she got to just pull an unhappy face throughout the entire film.
Face like a bulldog that's been licking piss off a nettle.
Fuck's sake. Lost my entire train of thought. Disappointments. I think all the kaiju fights without our main villains were a bit too short. They're a bit too, okay, let Godzilla go fight Scylla and Tiamat, and it's done in about all of 2 seconds.
Yeah, that's why I refer to Godzilla as like a serial killer as opposed to like our antagonist, because it wasn't even a fight. He just rocked up and assassinated 2 Titans.
I don't know, even like to be fair, like other than just some random characters knew how to like either read ancient language that's never been seen or randomly understand how these Iwa or whatever the fuck they called the insert noise.
Iwi or something like
Iwi randomly like communicate without words telepathically, like Bernie randomly cracked how to figure that out straight away. Other than just like small snippets like that and not understanding how Skar didn't come out of the subterranean level in Hollow Earth and whether there is more to Hollow Earth than meets the eye.
Monkeys renowned for climbing and Kongs renowned for strength, incapable of climbing up to a thin layer of rock to climb out of their prison. Yeah.
That was pretty much it. Other than that, like, I just enjoyed the film. Suko, that little motherfucker, he looked the
Morty Smith looking asshole.
he was irritating. I did not like his beginning bit of just him trying to give Kong the sleuth and just basically get him killed. That was a bit irritating, but I suppose it had to
well,
be
he
done.
always come up once when he got wielded like a pair of nunchucks and decked for other Kong.
And probably just Godzilla having a power up for basically no reason. It felt like that.
Godzilla had been training with like the Olympic athletics team.
I know that felt a bit unnecessary. It felt like we should have had something more, or like a post-credit scene that meant that this wasn't the reason why Godzilla powered up to Super Saiyan Rose or Kaioken Godzilla.
Without chewing on other kaijus, like Godzilla was as suddenly he's doing the 100-meter dash, broken suplex. He's been on WrestleMania. He can do
WrestleMania 100 Godzilla.
Diving form off the cliffs of Gibraltar, looking on point, ready to win a gold medal for whichever country he's in at the time. Like,
I know, like, is this something new? Like, he went and attacked a nuclear power plant and like scooped up all that energy. Then apparently that was what he needed to go fight Tiamat and clobber him sideways. Then he absorbed Tiamat. Like, when can you absorb? Is it just the fact that Tiamat had weird energy or something that he could absorb it? Like, could he absorb Ghidorah's stuff or?
Well, he was absorbing Tiamat's energy because they said that Tiamat's lair is on the closest point on Earth to where a lot of solar radiation comes from. So it kind of just sucks up all that nuclear energy from our sun. So he just sucked it out of Tiamat, I guess, like a big Capri Sun.
Just a bit. Scooped up sideways. To be honest,
yeah, that fight lasted about 30 seconds, and then he turned purple, didn't he? So
yeah. And to be fair, for me, like when I go into a film like this, I know I'm not going to get some Oscar-winning, storytelling nonsense. I know I'm going to watch big things punch other big things. But other than that, I pretty much enjoyed the film. Is there anything other than what I've mentioned that you disliked?
it was the fucking like loading screens it gave us, like some kind of video game. Every 15 minutes, these hideous yellow words describing whereabouts they are. And because they were using like wormholes and shit to like teleport from Hollow Earth, back to Hollow Earth, back, it was just like Egypt, Rio de Janeiro, Hollow Earth, every 15 minutes. It just took up the whole screen.
It was. That is horrible. It's something that I've disliked that they've started doing. I think they started doing it in Guardians maybe first, I feel like, and then it's just been kind of a thing that then like the Suicide Squad did. I think all the other Guardians films have done, and I think some of the Marvel films as well. Like, I don't know where it originated from.
What about the theme of it though? Kind of matches Guardians of the Galaxy for me though, because it's based on sort of like 80s pop culture, and that was like all the fucking rage. But there was no real need for it to be in Godzilla like it appeared.
Yeah, like when it went to the somewhere in Hollow Earth, it was like, okay, thank you. I know we're somewhere.
We're somewhere, yeah, because the floor is on the ceiling and the floor at the same time. I think I know I'm somewhere in Hollow Earth. And the Rio de Janeiro, yeah, Christ the Redeemer was the first thing you saw. I know I'm in Rio de Janeiro.
The Colosseum, yeah, thank you. I know I'm in Rome. I did wonder what, like, they said the Team Kong, they said that they basically have explored 5% of Hollow Earth. Now that makes me, I get that the Earth on the outside is maybe bigger than the middle, but like how have they only discovered like 5% in like a few years or however long it was? So it doesn't feel like a lot. but maybe they don't.
We've barely explored like that much of our ocean. We can't even get that far deep under the water, but we've got further than the water goes because now we're in Hollow Earth. So
and then
we've missed a chunk of planet.
Hollow Earth's apparently like a Russian doll, unless the subterranean level, it was just that. Like,
I think it was just underground tunnels at the bottom of Hollow Earth, but it was like its own little place.
My biggest question is, what the fuck was that giant skeleton that Kong was walking over? Like it was like the
giant
San
bridge,
Francisco
yeah.
bridge.
You consider that Kong is like 300 feet tall. This thing had to have been like nearly 4,000 feet long.
Like, don't show me that and not give me something for that. Like, what the hell? But this
And
film
what killed it?
In it, what did it just die?
Die of old age.
Like, this film had a fair, we had Scylla, we had Tiamat, we had Suko the prick, we had Shima or Shimo, however Shimu.
Shimuro.
That geese, we had the Skar King, we had Mothra, Kong and Godzilla. So we had a fair like big cast of big fuckers, and not to mention whatever the fuck that unnamed thing was in the subterranean level, that giant anaconda seal thing. Or eel thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was pretty cool. And we had those weird,
the
like,
subject of Mothra, like, real quick. I just need to touch on, like, random plot points they brought up and then solved far too quickly for it to have made, like, any sense at all. Like, they went out of their way to obliterate Kong's arm using Shimura, then 5 minutes later, thank God we had a spare robot arm, like, not even that far away from where we are, so let's get that sorted out. Like, why blow his arm off at all if you were going to solve the problem that quickly? And then why kill off Mothra in the last movie when it turns out actually like any child can pretty much just bring Mothra back?
Well, it had to be someone from the Iwi tribe that was from Kong's Skull Island.
Thank God it was like our main Iwi tribesman. Like,
I know, thank God
there was never any say about this kid being able to bring Mothra back. And then the last time we saw Mothra, there was no connection for like having this random kid bring Mothra back. And then suddenly, when necessary, we already had the key to that problem.
Kong with his bumblebee fist that he gives, Godzilla the flipping Dempsey roll punch of just punching him to heck. And
Kong just lost his right arm. Thankfully, we've got a robot right arm big enough for Kong, literally like 100 meters away. We've already been to the place. And get this, the ship necessary to move it is still parked there. That was well jarring, actually, because that was the first time in the movie that we were showed that, like, the technology that the humans were using was, like, well advanced. Like, I thought we were just sort of at a place, and then suddenly we've got, like, jet-powered VTOLs for changing Kong's teeth. And then the little minibus that they take to Hollow Earth. I'm like, what the hell? What Wakanda
that's what I mean. They took that weird, like, Halo spaceship through to Hollow Earth, and they didn't bring Trapper's weird tooth extraction vehicle. That was just randomly in Hollow Earth, so I'd like to...
That was parked on Hollow Earth, where they started. And it was just like, why bother even having Kong's arm be damaged in the movie if we were going to solve it that quickly?
And
the fist ended up being pretty clutch in itself, it nearly sparked Godzilla out, but...
Then Godzilla did take randomly too much of a beating, and I do think he does take too much of a beating all the fucking time. Screams, does his weird, like... And then starts doing like the weird, and then it just...
It's a very noisy creature. The whole movie was just very bright and loud.
It was, to be fair.
As you'd expect from a lot of creatures roaring at each other and shooting nuclear rays.
Skar King was nice, but it was just annoying that this was like a Godzilla X Kong film. Like, if we just had, a new... You could have just titled this movie Kong New Empire, and Godzilla needed to just team up with Kong randomly for a bit of help. Like, Skar King was cool, but he felt too much like a random throwaway Marvel villain. Like, Skar King could have been like, he was cutthroat, he was mean, he was like a ruler type of thing. And you could have like, to me, he kind of feels like one of those like 12 episode like season long villains that gets dealt with at the end, rather than
He was hyped up in those ancient murals to be this massive problem that Godzilla struggled to deal with. Kong met him once and nearly laid him out if it wasn't for Shimura.
Like, he's all like...
such a pushover bitch, and without that ice dragon would have literally died to Kong.
Innit? Like, having an orangutan, definitely a cool different change-up, but
I loved his design. He was sick. That whip was baller.
Innit? And then...
As well as the little blue pointy thing on the end that had zero context, but we all just knew from watching that it controlled the ice dragon, but we don't know why.
We don't know why at all, just... random...
It just gives her a massive headache and then tells her where to point and shoot. Like, oh, wow.
Man has his own aimbot.
And apparently him and that icy creature was the cause of the last ice age. And suddenly they were just adding stakes to the movie that just weren't there from the beginning. And it was just like, wait, what? Why is it now getting worse?
Like,
what do you
definitely
mean
cool.
Godzilla nearly lost that fight?
No. Like, it was cool to learn that he caused the last ice age, just like adding other bits to like the real world stuff to do with the kaijus. But they said that like Godzilla dealt with the Skar King and locked him away without this power up. So why did he need to power up again? Like, the power up didn't even feel relevant for fighting Shimu.
It was like they just needed to start writing off a few Titans so that they don't need to like spend budget on animating them in another film.
Well, they didn't even write any off. They ended up. They
got rid of Tiamat. Could have been a right good story with Tiamat, but never mind.
I suppose they just added him in, binned him off straight away. We had Skar King, and he got binned off. Well, he literally got shattered to a million fucking pieces, and then they added in.
Yeah, broke up one day with his death. But
they added a new camel ride for Kong to go back for his new tribe and family of people now.
Oh yeah, the Godzilla let him walk away with Shimura and back down to Hollow Earth.
Yeah, like.
And then went back to the Colosseum in Rome. Thank God he remembers exactly where it is. No sat-nav needed. Or just went back to that Colosseum. And he went back to bed. All in a day's work for Godzilla.
If they're so against each other for territory with Kong and Godzilla, it feels a lot to just let like Shimura just rock back down with him and things. Like, Kong could literally come up now with his army with Shimura and probably just take over.
Let's all agree though that like Mothra probably just told Godzilla to let him go back to Hollow Earth, because now there's a whole kingdom of apes down there that needs their new leader Kong. So
I know,
Mothra probably just said he's not going to be an issue, man. He's down here with me now.
Yeah, he'll be alright. He's got his family now that he wanted. It was quite nice that he's now got his family. It was.
Him petting Shimura was quite cute.
Yeah.
Giving him chin rubs.
Giving him little chin scratches. And like when Kong first did like come down to the subterranean level and see, you know, these apes, it was cool. And the fight scene between those apes with Kong was really cool, to be fair.
I think the longest fight scene in that whole movie.
Yeah,
but...
it was a good choreographed scene. I was a big fan. But like they've definitely set up some, I think, things going forward. Like the government wants to take over for the like Kong team, which can only spell more bad things. Like I think, like the thing I sent you earlier to do with like that destroyer thing. Like I think that's something that potentially might happen. Like Ghidorah will come back into play with some form of thing, whether that turns into destroyer, or whether that's just we might get some weird Biolante, if you know who he is. If people don't, I'll chuck a picture up of Biolante right now. Like. Going that route could be pretty wavy. Stuff to do with like Space Godzilla from what I can remember. And it's one of those things where if Biolante comes in and we get Space Godzilla as well, that could definitely be very cool. But it's my only problem with this, the end of this film, is now where do they go? As either they bring back some like mecha Ghidorah, we start doing like Space Godzilla stuff, or we go down like Destroyer route where it's just going to be like the end of the Monsterverse.
I reckon we're going to end up with like a new Godzilla film where he has to go deal with all the Titans he didn't deal with in this film, but the government is going to try and race to test a new weapon on them faster than he can do it, and then take him down with them.
Or try like take control of all the
yes, they were going on about how they use Godzilla as a weapon to fight the battles that they can't, and the government probably isn't very happy being humiliated by a giant lizard like that.
Might be a problem. Shimura was definitely a very cool Titan, although again we just got like next to fuck all. We got some random like painting, you know, Ewu tribe stuff that got explained for like 2 seconds.
We were shown that the like Skar King had Shimura before they actually saw the carving. Like if we had the carving first and then cut to them fighting, we'd be like, oh no, Kong might have to fight this like ice lizard. But first we just got given this random ice lizard, and then we were given the context behind ice lizard.
Like he was very bulky. It would be, I think, I think he would do the same to Godzilla that Ghidorah did to Godzilla, but I don't know if it was just like powered up Godzilla just seemed too busted for him, and it was just kind of like, yeah, it didn't feel at any point that Godzilla was any form of danger, really. That was the problem. There didn't feel like enough stakes. It didn't feel like Shimu was this person that, or Shimmer or whatever the fuck you want to call it, caused the Ice Age and was, you know, this really big threat or anything like that. That was a bit underwhelming.
Still, the only thing that made Skar King threatening was his pet, not him.
Exactly, like it was just this random crazy ass thing that ended up.
Couldn't even say that his followers made him scary, because all those Kongs were well smaller than our Kong. King Kong was so diesel compared to every other ape in that movie.
He was jacked. All the other fucking monkeys were just
absolutely jacked. Yeah.
rocked
What I
up.
also found quite entertaining was the fact that, like, when you start the movie and it's like, oh, this is ages 12, parental guidance is advised, and then within about 15 minutes, you see Kong just tear in half this like wolf thing, and its guts and everything just spill everywhere.
No, it was tasty.
It was very gruesome.
Green Kong for like 2 seconds. It looked right.
And Scylla getting melted down, and then chunks of Skar King going everywhere at the end.
Suko, I want to know more about that scene where we first meet him, where his shadow is like bigger than Kong and intimidating. Like, is that like a weird throwaway?
I think it was supposed to be a storytelling device that would make us go, oh shit, it's Skar King. Like, oh, who else is like the scary Kong? It's going to be Skar King, and then it ends up being Suko. But I don't think they ever confirm whether Suko is Skar King's kid or not. But like, Suko is the only other orange ape besides Skar King.
You know, well, the only other
I think they might be
orangutan.
related, but they never say.
Like, I don't know if he is the son or something of, because he seemed to have like a father in the film or someone that looked over him. It was
His
that.
mother, wasn't it? And then Skar King boots her into the lava, and he freaks out and like clutches his heart, and he's like, no. But that was another interesting part about the movie. It's the fact that you didn't need any subtitles or anything to know what the Kongs were saying to each other. Like, all the body language was translatable as hell, and I thought that was excellent storytelling. So you don't need people to tell an engaging story.
You know, get rid of them. We also could go down the route of just completely new Monsterverse people for a future film as well. Like, we've had a couple of peeps that are Monsterverse only, so here's hoping that we do get some cooler stuff. Like with Godzilla -1, I think the world is starting to fully accept and understand that, you know, Godzilla is cool, Godzilla is popular. Keep bringing us Godzilla, bring us more Pacific Rim. I think he said Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim. Get Guillermo del Toro to reset that franchise. Give us an actual sequel to the first movie and forget that Uprising was ever a thing.
Give us these big kaiju movies, and I think people will be happy to a degree. Obviously, we still need our Oscar-worthy movies, all that type of stuff, but people will just go to the cinema and enjoy it.
The people were doing was just too complicated.
It was. We didn't.
All the big upside-down crystal pyramids and all that nonsense. Fucking boring.
Trapper was definitely a weird character. Like, I enjoyed him, but also hated him. Like, how does he have this weird, like, Ace Ventura Sixth Sense going on all the time?
He also had that, like, comedic factor that overlapped too much with what's-his-face, the podcast guy. Bernie, yeah. There was too many comedic characters, either be funny or not. And then they immediately forgot about the pilot who died.
Who got eaten by a tree. But on that poor note, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Tune in for more after cinema reviews. I think you can clearly see that me and Logan both enjoyed big monsters.
But if you could put all the monster fights together and all the monster presences, it'd be like 30 minutes.
And it'd be probably a more enjoyable 30 minutes than the entire film. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tune in to more. Don't you dare forget.
Don't you dare.
Tune in to more after cinema reviews when it comes, and then look forward to more videos with Logan in the future.
And if anybody wants to buy an Iron Claw poster.
Oh Lord, I have 6.
Yes, 6 of them.
Take care now, bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, thank you for watching the video. Click the button to keep watching, or click the other video for more videos, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.